Hey strong people, Beck here from StartingStrongman.com. I am currently on the road, going to be shooting a commercial in Los Angeles this weekend that involves Starting Strongman. We were picked to be a part of it, can't say too much. Other members of the Starting Strongman Facebook group are going to be a part of it, so it's pretty cool. So, anyways, today I'm going to be breaking down the Arnold Strongman USA and giving you my preview and predictions on how I think it will happen. This is a very important contest. This is the last chance to qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus, Ohio in, March-ish. And there's some big names so far that haven't qualified and need to be placed highly at this show to do so, including Brian Shaw, who announced a couple weeks ago, sorry I'm behind, I'm in the middle of moving across the country, so things have been tough as far as putting videos like this out, but appreciate all the new subscribers. He announced that he's going to be competing. Originally, he said he wouldn't. It kind of felt like he would. Looks like they had some talks, and now Brian Shaw, 3-time Arnold Strongman Classic champion, 4-time World's Strongest Man, is going to try to qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic. And current World's Strongest Man, Martinez also will be competing. So that's who everyone's really focusing on this. Sorry, I'm in a hotel room, and for the next few weeks, videos like this might just end up being in hotel rooms, weird backgrounds, etc. So before I want to get into it, I'm just going to I might do a little bit of some behind the scenes stuff coming up on the channel involving the group members and the project that we're all doing while I'm here in Los Angeles before I drive across the country. And so how the Arnold works is you either qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic by being one of the highest placing person who hasn't qualified, basically winning one of the Arnold Strongman contests throughout the series, or by accumulating points. So in Santa Monica, there's going to be 2 wildcard spots finalized based on points. Right now, the points are pretty much between 3 people that could possibly make it. Matthias Belsack is leading with 32 points, so he's basically a lock to make it on points. I know he has some hip injuries and stuff, but he just keeps on keeping on. Gerry Pritchett is in second with 26 points, and Ronald Han is in third with 23 points. So he would have to place, I believe, 4 places ahead of Gerry Pritchett in Arnold Santa Monica on January 18th in order to get that second wild card spot. Belsack would pretty much have to place out of the top 10 and Hanla to basically maybe get second, and I think they'd then tie because I think you'd only get 9 points. So I think Belsack's pretty much a lock, and Hanla just has to place 4 points above Gerry Pritchett, which is no easy feat. So another thing to note is that someone like Brian Shaw or Martinez, they don't have to win this contest in order to qualify. They have to be the highest placing person who hasn't already won a contest to qualify. So they can place below JF Karan, Rob Kearney, and Novikov, and I think there's one other that is qualified. So you could get 4th place. Yeah, that's the 3 that are competing that qualified. JF Karan, Rob Kearney, and Alexi Novikov. So you could get 4th place at this contest and still qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic. So at the Arnold Strongman USA, here's the events that are going to be taking place. They have the Slater Log Clean and Press for reps. It's a 380 pound / 172.5 kilogram log. They have to clean each one. There's going to be crash pads. We saw Kilshkovsky just completely destroy this event last year. He's not here, recovering from bicep surgery, trying to get ready for the Arnold Strongman Classic already, since he's previously qualified. A 400-pound farmer's walk. Athletes will pick and carry the farmer's walk 30 feet, drop, turn, so they're not turning with the implement, they're dropping it, turning, repicking it, and going back 30 feet. So 400, pretty heavy, shorter course, but you can lose a lot of points, a lot of time in that transition. And if the pick is a hard point for you, having to pick it twice doesn't help. Then we have the Rogue Strongman Throw Over Bar. It's a 15-foot bar from the site lists it from 70 to 90 pounds. I'm pretty sure it's been changed from 50 to 70 pounds, which is still heavy. But 70 to 90 pounds, no one would complete that. About 100 is what people do for a max, just doing one. So to do 90 as the fifth bag is pretty much just not going to happen. So that was a good call by the promoters to listen to the athletes who actually know their abilities and make it more entertaining of a show. Just watching someone just try to like throw the third bag over and over again isn't fun to watch. A 775-pound deadlift for reps, pretty standard stuff. Then a rogue, it's all caps, so that's how you have to say it. Rogue strongman sandbag load, 3 bags carried 30 feet each, loaded onto a 52-inch platform. Bags will be 300, 350, and 400, so that's definitely heavy. It's a shorter course, and I think that favors some of the athletes. Now I'm going to go over the competitors, and how I'm going to break this down is each competitor, I'm going to briefly describe them and say what they need to do, how I see them placing, going over the events, what events they need to excel on to get better points, etc. So we have Eddie Williams. In case you missed it, he was just on, was it America's Got Talent? He had previously done Australia's Got Talent. Now he's on America's Got Talent. My aunt even messaged me saying, hey, do you know this guy who lifts Atlas stones and sings? And I said, yes, I do. That's Eddie Williams, Australia's strongest man. So for Eddie, I think he will do very well in the farmer's walk. He's very good at moving events, and a heavy weight like that should do well for him. The deadlift, the static events are where he's gonna lose points or have to make the most points and get the most reps. 1 rep on the log would be big. Couple reps on the deadlift. I'm not sure how he is at throwing. Haven't seen any evidence. Based on how he's built, I would assume he's well. It just depends on how much he's practiced. A heavy carry and load, I also think will be a strong event for Eddie, and hopefully we'll get some more singing out of him. But I think Eddie has a good chance to place mid-pack here, and he's definitely probably the top talent we've seen out of Australia since in a long time, and keeps improving, and is just a great person in the sport. Oh, Brian Shaw. We're second. I'm going to go to Brian Shaw. I should have looked this over. So what we need to see out of Brian Shaw is that his hamstrings hold up on the day for the deadlift. His deadlift looked pretty good in training. They've looked slightly better between Europe and then Dubai. But pretty much since 2017, he's been having these recurring hamstring issues, and it just seems to be getting worse at the show. The sandbag throw over bar will be good for him. The farmer's walk should be good for him. He just can't take a ton of time regripping in between setting it down and picking it back up, because I think there's some younger athletes that are going to just be going berserker on that and not being as methodical as someone like Brian. The log, I think his logs looked really good. It looked off in Dubai compared to what I would think it would be. But there was the uneven floor. They should have a better platform. I'm thinking Brian Shaw really has a chance to qualify the Arnold strongman. It's just, I know he's been underperforming this year, but if you go back every other year besides this, he's looked great. He hasn't been filming for a while. I think he feels ready. He seems to be training a little bit more specific in his training, which I think he wasn't able to do while he was going around filming a TV show. And it's going to be a dogfight with that. He just needs to pick up that gear and bring back some of that athleticism of the Brian Shaw of old, to be faster on the sandbag load, faster on transitions, faster on the farmer's walk. We know he can do the weight, and his hamstring needs to hold up for the deadlift. Gerry Pritchett, it's going to come down to the log. That's going to be sometimes Gerry has a good log day, sometimes he doesn't. If he can get 1 or 2 reps on that, especially 2, I think he'll be in a good position to lock in that wild card spot. Farmer's walk's a good event for him. Throwing over bar, I can't really remember his throw. I think it's an okay event for him, but not his strong suit. Deadlift, him and Hanlo will probably be going at that for the top spot in that event. And the sandbag load, sometimes Gerry has bicep problems, so the 350 and 400 pound bag, especially the 4, they might be problems just on the pick. Just depends on where Gerry's body's at. But I think he's going to keep that second wild card spot. I really do. I think that between the deadlift and the farmer's walk and some of the other events, he's going to be able to place highly enough to keep in range of Ronald Han and not let him overtake him in points and lock in that second wildcard spot, and he will qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Alexi Novikov. I think I'm picking Alexi to win this whole contest. This would be his third Arnold qualifier that he's won. The log for reps is good. Farmer's walk, he's just going to drop it, pick it, go back up. He's not even going to think about it, phase him. Can't really remember too much of his throwing. Deadlift for reps, he'll be competitive, especially if he lets it hang in his fingertips. I think people are onto him a little bit more, but I'm a big fan of athletes that try to, hey, if you get the points, you get the points. You get the call, you get the call. I think it goes the other way, but anyways. The 400-pound sandbag, it's just so big for him. Maybe it could cause problems, but I think he's going to have a pretty consistent day. And I think I'm picking Alexi to win the whole thing, but that's by no means a lock. He also might not be going 100%, which I think I've never seen him not, just because he's so young. And, I think there is $10,000 to win, so he does have incentive there. That's a good amount of money for a competitive strongman, especially one in their rookie pro season. But that's another thing. Maybe he's going to hold back a little bit just because he's trying to train mainly for the Arnold, Ohio with the big payday, since he's already qualified. But I don't think so. I think he's going to go all out. Martinez Lisi's log clean press depends on how his shoulder's healed. I think it's going to be good. He's really, in all the contests that he's done well, when he won this show last year, when he got second at the Arnold, Ohio, when he won World's Strongest Man. Like, what a year Martinez has had, 2019. This would be a great way to cap it off after Worlds, where you could tell he hit the brakes a little bit, his body being worn down caught up with him. But maybe I think it's just in time that Martinez is starting to heal up. This happened last year at the same time. He lives there. I think if anyone else is going to win this show, it's going to be Martinez instead of Novikov. I'm just not too sure Martinez is 100%. But for him, it really comes down to how well his, like I said, his shoulder neck issue thing is holding up for the log. I think it is, 2, 3, 4 reps on the log. If he gets that, he's in the driver's seat. Farmer's walk, I don't see being a problem for him. And what it really he has had a problem throwing. It looks like he's made huge improvements working with a great person, John Eccles, on his throwing. He's made improvements. We'll see if it'll pay off on the day. I think it being lighter, I'm not sure if it actually helps, because I think more people would have zeroed and they just kind of would have all been there with it. The bags being made lighter, it's going to be more competitive. We just have to see if he's able to take those things he's learned from John and others, finishing his throwing, working on it, and if he can make it apply on game day, because that's been historically a bad event for Martinez. If he has a good sandbag throw where he's somewhere in the top 4 or 5, I think he has a great chance of winning this, and even better chance of qualifying for the Arnold Classic in Ohio. Deadlift for reps, I think he might be able to be right up there with Pritchett and Hanla, and definitely enough to be consistent enough to win the sandbag load. I think will also be a good event for him. He's gotten really good at those. He's fast. I think the hometown helps. He loves the crowd. He rises on game day. And as I say it over in my head, now I'm picking Martinez to win over Novikov. I do this because I'm a fan. So I just can't keep it too straight there. Jitsi Kramer of Holland, he doesn't have the best overhead. He, I believe, is good at farmer's walk, has a pretty good deadlift. He's going to take points there, and in the sandbag load, throw over bar, I didn't do enough homework. but Yitzi will be kind of nipping different things. His overhead's not the best, for this level, but other events he'll definitely steal some points in. And we go to Rob Kearney. Overhead, he's probably going to win. Log clean and press looks phenomenal. Farmer's walk could be a struggle. 400 pounds is heavy. He just needs a good performance on that. He's 5'9". He's not the biggest guy. That doesn't generally lend itself well to heavy farmers, but Rob does have a pretty decent grip, and it's not super far. I think it being 30 feet will help him because he can outrun his grip. If he has to get 30 feet, he's very fast at moving events. He can do that fast and, shake his hands out, repick it, and go. And probably do better than you think. The throw over bar is an event that really matters for him. Just in the deadlift for reps, he's generally better at pulling maxes than he is reps, but 775 will be a good weight to kind of see where Rob is as far as, heavy deadlift for reps for the rest of the season. But he should be able to get, a good amount of reps with that. The sandbag load, again, 400-pound bag's really big for someone, who's under, 6 foot tall. Just the width and the sheer girth of it. But I think Rob can handle the girth. Sorry, had to. But yeah, I think with everything pulled together, there's no reason that Rob can't get a top 5 performance. Then we go on a Ronald Han. I think he's actually he looks slightly beat up, but he seems to be like the most consistent at this stage in the game where everyone's beat up. He had a great performance in Dubai. He's been looking pretty good overall, but I just don't think these events are very good for him. Log clean and press, always a good event for him. He always almost gets a rep, but just can't quite stabilize it. But if he does, that's big points. Like let's say if he gets the 4th rep, which he always almost has right at the top, but doesn't quite get. If he gets that, that'll be big points for him. Farmer's walk is a big Achilles heel for him. Most of the shows that Hanla ends up winning don't have a big grip. 400 pounds is very heavy. He's going to suffer in that event most likely. Throw over bar, don't think it's the best event for him. Deadlift for reps, I predict him or Pritchett are going to win that with depending on how fired up Martinez is being up in that mix. The sandbag load, he's better than you think someone his size would be at heavy sandbags, and I think that'll be a strong event for him. I just don't know if it's enough for him to overcome the bad grip in the farmer's walk. So hopefully he doesn't. He just has to. That's the key. If he has a good performance in the farmer's walk, I think it is highly likely he ends up being the highest placing person who hasn't qualified yet and could qualify for the Arnold Strongman Classic. He's my wild card in this to upset Brian Shaw Martinez and all the fans and kind of just go right above him, get a 3rd or 4th place, with Novikov and Karan being up there, because these actually look like pretty good events for Karan. Looking at him, and he's my upset pick. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Casey Garrison, USA, very athletic, from Orange County. I believe that's where Casey's at. Former baseball player, and I think he'll shock some people in a lot of these events. The throwing should go well for him. Log for reps, he should get a rep or 2. Farmer's walk should be fine. He's an athletic guy. Dead for reps, he should get a couple reps. I think Casey's going to show. He's going to make people notice him and hopefully do more of the circuit after this show. But you should have and Wesley Claiborne, I think, is probably the most underrated strongman in the United States. He just won America's Strongest Man against tough people like Trey Mitchell III, who should be at this contest. Wes is just, he trains down in Georgia. He has a pair of hiking boots and nothing. That's all he trains in. All these people worrying about what wraps and belt and this do I wear, and then Wes Claiborne goes out there and loads like a 500-something pound keg like nothing with just some like cargo shorts and hiking boots and no wrist wraps, no belt, nothing. He's just that kind of guy. And if he gets a couple reps in the log, everything else looks good for him. Not too sure how his throwing is. It's just not contested too much at the level of shows that Wes is going to be competing. But I expect him to really be put on the scene here and should get invited to some bigger shows. Winning America's Strongest Man was big for him because it got him the invite here and should lead to bigger things. And hopefully from there, he is, people start to call him a dark horse, which is the next step after when people say you're, overlooked, which he definitely has been. JF Caron of Canada, I think will have a really good performance. It depends on how healthy he is. He's been competing a lot. He's getting older. Farmer's Walk, every Canadian has good grip, it seems. He'll be up there. The log clean and press for reps, should get a couple reps. Throw over bar, he's mid-pack at, but with this lineup, he should place decently. Deadlift for reps, no reason JF doesn't win that. Sandbag load, he's always good. I think JF should be somewhere in the top 5. I know I've put like 10 people in the top 5, but what are you going to do? Maxime from Canada, he is my wild card pick from the north in this one. So excellent log presser. He's going to be right up there with Kearney. He's been fired up. He's been training specifically for the show, getting better and better. He just needs to make sure he pulls it together on game day. Very, very talented athlete. Farmer's Walk and the deadlift are going to be the important events for him. Everything else, I think he held like a Canadian record for a little bit in the keg toss over bar. So sandbag throw over bar, he's going to be good. Deadlifts, always been his, kind of Achilles heel, but I think I saw him pull a triple with contest weight, and so that'll give him some big points. Farmer's Walk should be good. Sandbag load should be good. Again, don't be surprised if Maxime places highly. He's my wild card pick for the event. So at the end, who do I pick? I think Martinez is going to qualify, but man, this is a crazy show. I think Novikov could win it. Martinez could qualify. Han could qualify. Brian Shaw could qualify. I keep doing this every time, and I think that we're going to see Brian Shaw not making the Arnold Classic. I'd be perfectly happy if I'm proven wrong. I have to say something in these. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but it's fun. Let me know what you think in the comments below. For more information and tickets, you can go to arnoldstrongmanusa.com. You can follow me at Let Kalle Lift and at Starting Strongman across social media, and be sure to hit like and subscribe and tell your friends about these videos. You can also listen to the audio version. Just search in your favorite podcast app for the Strong Talk podcast.